No, that's not working that way.
You can go around that way.
I'm trying. Over here like this. Thank you. Hello. I'm Shirley Chauvin, and I'd like to start with asking you to please put your phones on silent. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. Isn't this a marvelous sound these 5 musicians present? So much joy, so much happiness, and I don't know about you, but I can't listen without patting that right foot like crazy. Got a little fast there for me, Joe. You have a program, a beautiful program, printed by the Jackson House. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And it tells you about the band formed in 2005. Well, you all can read, so I'll let you do that, and you get to know a little bit more about the band. But they didn't mention names, so I would like to do that. Alice Cannon is the vocalist, and Boran, did I say?
Boran. Boran.
I stand corrected, folks. David Childs, our Celtic harpist. Is that particularly the way that instrument has been named all these years?
Yeah, this is a mid-size harp. There's little lap harps, and then this is a mid-size harp, which was actually invented in Ireland. And then, of course, there's the big symphony harps. So these are known as Celtic because they were first invented in Ireland.
Well, thank you for that. I'm glad to know that. I didn't know that. That was David Childs, and then Deb Reed is flute and Irish whistle player. Can you imagine? It's all right, please do. Can you imagine how much music she gets out of that little stick? Amazing. Joe Leon, did I say that correctly, Joe? Is the Celtic breeze fiddler.
He's a little town in eastern Scotland. Far east Scotland.
Far East Scotland, yeah. Little town in Far East Scotland. Yeah, he's a comedian, he doesn't know. Then we have the most recent addition, which is Randy Broadnax. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
Well, thank
I'm
you.
changing it to that regardless.
He's the most recent. He's been about a year playing with the Celtic Breeze, and I know that we are happy to have you here. Thank you. And then you have the mastermind, Charlie Mink, on Mountain Blessing. Can you see Charlie? I don't like to stand in front of you since you're the showman here. Anyway, we're glad to see all of you here for these wonderful programs that Charlie and I produce once a month here at the library. And I want you to know that the library is funding the funds to produce this show, which goes to the musicians to pay for their talent and time, which they most definitely deserve. I'm going to introduce a lady to you who is the CEO of the Jackson House, a community outreach nonprofit. They receive the donations that you put in the donation boxes. So it's a collaboration between our wonderful Garland County Library and the most helpful Jackson House. Ladies and gentlemen, Janie Smith.
Thank you, everyone, for coming today and sharing your talents with us. I'm so excited to hear some more. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I know it was a little bit of a rain shower, but I've looked at the radar. There's no more, so we should be good to go. It just gave us the wonderful humidity. You know, it's good for your hair and so forth. Anyway, I'll talk just briefly about Jackson House. I know some of you are volunteers and donors. Thank you so much for what you do. I was explaining to someone a few minutes ago that we have about 100,000 people in our county, and the poverty rate hovers between 20 and 24%. It depends upon the group you're talking about. And we currently have about 24,000 open cases. So, where those come from are we have seniors that make up about 4 or 5%. We have people who are disabled and veterans. That group makes up about 5%. You have your homeless, and that makes up less than 1%. And then you have your working poor, and that makes up the balance. So we have literally thousands of people that we see every day. We see them working at the grocery store, we see them cleaning, we see them working in the restaurants, they work in the hotels, that type of thing, because what is our industry here? It's tourism, and it doesn't pay all that well. So if you have a young family and they're struggling, they often come to us for food and clothing and household items and all kinds of things. It's just a wonderful partnership that we've had. By the way, this is our 50th year. How about that? 50 years. I doubt you'd go even one day without seeing or talking with someone that has been to us for help at some point in their lives. So we're glad to be there. We're glad to help keep people on the road to productivity and staying in their homes. We help those who've fallen out of that, of course. We're going to be working with the new clinic that has started here in town, the new center, the resource center, and we still are serving 250 to 300 meals per day. So we do a lot, and we could not do it without your help. We're able to get a lot of bang for the buck. I know how to sneak around and get through $4 or $5 worth of food for $1 still. So working together, I thank you for that, and I thank you on behalf of all of the people that you have helped. Very quickly, one quick story, I had a boy that came up one day, and he was out in the yard, and he said, Daddy, Daddy, this is my favorite place. This is the restaurant I go and eat at every day. So, you know, you just don't know who you're helping and who you're going to help along the way, you know, as they grow up. So thank you for your help. Thank you for your support. We couldn't do it without groups like this, and this is a fantastic group. Thank you so much to our library. I've loved the library since I was a little girl. I was laughing the other day, the very first book I ever bought from Scholastic Books was 10 cents, and it was body language, how to read body language. And I'm still into the psychology of all of that. But anyway, I've always been a patron of the library, and I appreciate what it does for our community. It educates us all. Thank you so much, and please enjoy this afternoon. All donations today will go to Jackson House. Thank you.
Thank you, Janie. I don't know if she mentioned it or not, but that Jackson House is entirely private funded. They get no government funds of any kind. Well, our third number, because we've already done two, haven't we, is a song that a lot of people are a little confused about. Most music historians, although not all, feel like it originated in the mid-1500s in King Henry VIII's court, probably written by an Italian musician that they had hired for the court. Fairly popular song, but then in 1850, there was another Englishman. His name, I believe, was William Dix. And he took the old King's song, which at that time was over 300 years old, and he put new words to it. As what child is this? And we sing that now as a Christmas song, don't we? Well, the original song is Green Sleeves. It has nothing whatsoever to do with Christmas. So when we play it this time of year, what are they playing a Christmas song for? Green Sleeves, when you listen to the words, as you'll have a chance to in a moment, it's about a man who has given this woman nice clothes and jewels and diamonds, and still she treats him discourteously. Kind of a medieval country and western song, isn't it? It has nothing to do with Christmas. We're going to try and do a little bit of each one for you. Whatever you want to look at it. The song is around 500 or so years old, and it's still with us, so it's got to be a pretty song, doesn't it, to last that long. Green Sleeves.
Alas, my love, you do me wrong to cast me off discourteously, for I have loved you well and long, delighting in your company. Grace, grace was all my joy. Green sleeves was my delight. Green sleeves, my heart of gold, and rest on Mary's lap is sleeping, whom angels greet with and sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping. This is Christ the King, whom shepherds laud and angels sing.
Thank you very much. Brian Boru was the first and the last emperor of United Ireland. He lived and ruled around the year 1000. He was a strong ruler. He was able to unite all the warring tribes of Ireland under his rule. And he ruled until his 80s, well into his 80s. The story of his death has actually been recorded. He had led his armies against an invasion of Vikings in the northern part of Ireland, and they had won. They pushed the Vikings back into the sea. And the story goes, the old man went up onto a hill after the battle to pray and give thanks for deliverance from the Vikings. And there was a Viking up there who was wounded, but wasn't quite dead. And he slipped up behind the old boy and skewered him, and that was the last of Brian Boru. And afterwards, there was no strong ruler to take over, and Ireland fell into disarray and remained so for several hundred years. Our next song is called Brian Boru's March, and music historians say that it dates back to around that time of his rule. Hope you enjoy it. Most of you will recognize our next two, Cockles and Mussels.
In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone. As she wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, for so were her father and mother before, and they each wheeled their barrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. Now her ghost wheels about through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Did I mess my hair up?
No, it's lovely.
called Minstrel Boy. It originated around 1813 as an Irish song, kind of mocking the British, who were, of course, in charge at that time of Ireland. Minstrel Boy, hope you enjoy it.
The minstrel boy to the war is gone. In the ranks of death you will find him. His father's sword he has girded on, and his wild harp slung behind him. Land of songs and the warrior heart, all the world betrays thee. One sword at least thy right shall guard, one faithful heart shall praise thee. The minstrel fell, but the foeman's chain could not bring back crowds so launder. The harp he loved ne'er spoke again, for it tore its chords asunder, and sang no chain shall sully thee, a song of love and bravery. Thy songs were made for the pure and free, they shall never sound in slavery. Thy songs were made for the pure and free, they shall never sound in slavery.
Some say that some of the prettiest spots in Ireland are the Isles of Inisheer in Galway Bay. And of all the Isles of Inisheer, or the Isles of Aran Isles, the Isle of Inisheer is probably the prettiest one. There's another tune that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, has a history. It began, evidently, around 800 years ago in Scotland, and the tune was The Fairy King. Now, the Fairy King in Scots legend was the king of the underworld, and he had come to the surface and met this pretty young girl and was trying to talk her into going back to the underworld with him. Well, she didn't want to go, but she didn't want to just say no. He was the king of the underworld. So she gave him several impossible tasks to perform. If she could do that, if he could do that, she would go back with him. Well, then in the mid-1500s, for some reason, things Scottish became popular in England, and the song migrated to England and became the song that we know as Scarborough Fair. Now, at that time, Scarborough Fair was a going concern. It was chartered in the 1200s by King Henry II, if I'm not mistaken, and ran almost continually until the late 1700s as the equivalent of our malls today. Some things stayed the same, some changed. It was Scarborough Fair, Parsley, Sage Road, Merry in Time. Now it's a conversation between a man and a woman, not the king and the woman. But the impossible tasks are still there. You'll hear, he'll be my love if he farms me an acre of land which is underwater, which of course you can't do. And she says he'll be my love if she knits me a cambric shirt with no seam. So some of the things stayed the same, but other things changed. And then you might remember in the late 60s, I think it was, Simon and Garfunkel picked the song up and added a descant to it, and it was a kind of a Civil War song. So isn't it amazing? Here's a song that's been around for 800 years, the tune anyway, I guess because it's such a beautiful song.
Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to make me
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, our next selection is based on the theme music from the 1992 movie, The Last of the Mohicans. The music you'll hear features the fiddle and is based on the orchestration of the tune, The Gale, by Scottish singer-songwriter Dougie MacLean. Now, the movie, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, was based on the historical romance novel of The Last of the Mohicans, written by James Fenimore Cooper in 1826. Whereas we're not the Troy Symphony who originally performed this piece of music on the movie soundtrack, here is our version of Promontory from The Last of the Mohicans.
That was a fun one to put together because as Deb said, that was originally done by about an 80 or 90 piece symphony orchestra. So, well, we're going to do a kind of a American folk song for you right now. Back around the turn of the century, turn of the last century. I'm old and I think about that. Anyway, the modern mode of transportation back then was by train, and train wrecks really got a big write-up, kind of like a plane wreck does today. Here's one that got kind of popular, I guess. It was Danville Train, 1903, the wreck of the old 97.
Well, they gave his orders at Monroe, Virginia, saying, Steve, you're way behind time. This is not 38, so 97, you must prefer this long time. And he was rocking to his 5 days farming to shovel in a little more gold. And when we crossed that wide open mountain, you could watch. It's a mighty rough road, Lynchburg to Danville, and I'm on a 3-mile train. It was on that grade, off his Eric, so you see what a rough day. He was going down the road, getting 90 miles an hour, and it was so broken to the street. On the throttle and stalled it to get by the street. Well, this is the serious part now. Ladies, I'm speaking to you now. Ladies, you must all take warning. From this time on, and learn, let me tell you, just learn, never ever speak harsh words, no harsh words to your true loving husband. Don't do it. Don't, I pray. He may leave you and never return. It's not really, but it is sad. What am I doing now? the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the flowers are dying. 'Tis you must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow and all eyes and white with snow. 'Tis I'll be sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But if you come when all the flowers are dying and I am dead, as dead I will maybe, you'll come and find the place where I am lying and kneel and say an Ave there for me, and I shall hear the soft you tread above me, and all my dreams will sweeter be. If you'll not hear to tell me show, gall darn it. And the Celtic Breeze Band, thanks you very much. Thank you very much for being here. Also, thank you for what you're doing for Jackson House with your donations tonight. That is a truly wonderful organization that is thriving thanks to people paying attention to that need. So thank you. Our last number, well, it's not Scots and it's not Irish, but it does have a certain homespun mountain warmth to it that I think you'll like. And we hope you'll join in singing along with I'll Fly Away. Some bright morning when the sun is low, I'll fly away to a home on that lucky shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, bye bye. I'll fly away when the shadows of the night fall. I'll fly away like a bird from Christmas Eve. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away when I die. Hallelujah, bye bye. I'll fly away, oh yeah. Just a few more weary days and I'll fly away to a land where treasure never dies. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. Bye bye, bye bye, I'll fly away. Everybody.
Thanks, folks. Thank you very much. Listen, if you enjoyed the show as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you, have a good time. We'll see you next month. Thank you very much.